When developing a drift car, suspension is one of the most important aspects that you need to look at. So let's have a chat with Jack Monkhouse and see what is it that makes suspension so important when it comes to drifting.
Basically, yeah, with the drifting, angle and your car position and how it handles is the most important thing. So you got to do your homework with the suspension, because if you go out there with 500 kilowatts and it doesn't handle, then you're going to look like a bit of a clown. So we spend a lot of time developing our suspension rather than the horsepower of the car, especially with your spring rates, your ride heights, and all your cambers and casters. It makes a huge difference on the way the car handles.
Now, you're sponsored by Racing Logic, who obviously manufacture coilovers. Tell us, why is a coilover so important, and what is it that makes it so different from a conventional strut you'd find in a factory car?
Well, basically, there's a lot of adjustments in a coilover. It's sort of a road car strut. You can put some springs in it and change the ride height, but that sort of limits your ability to do stuff with a road car strut. So with a coilover, we can change the ride heights, the spring rates, we can change our bump and rebound settings, so the harder the car compresses and the quicker it shoots back up to sky, and your cambers.
So what's the difference between the front coilover and the rear coilover in something like a Nissan Silvia?
The coilovers themselves aren't a huge amount different. Obviously they look a bit different. They've got the same sort of characteristics, except the rear coilovers in say a Nissan, for example, they don't have any camber adjustments. That's all done in the control arms and all the arms in the back of the car.
So moving on from the coilovers, what other parts of a drift car do you need to replace from a conventional road car to sort of give you the adjustment that you need?
Well, with the drift cars, when you make them nice and low to get them to handle, all your control arms, all the angles go really funny, and all your steering geometry goes rather berserk, so you have to get a different control arm with a big bump steer adjustable ball joint, so that it keeps all the arms nice and straight, so you got good geometry, and when you hit a big bump on full lock, your steering doesn't get locked up, and the car handles really nice through the bumps and the corners.
So with all the extra adjustment you can get from all these adjustable suspension arms, just how long does it actually take you to develop a car like a Nissan Silvia or Skyline that you'll see regularly, and sort of what procedure do you go through to get that suspension correct?
Well, it takes a fair bit of time setting one up, because you want to get your rake of your car, sort of your front and back heights right. We had a problem yesterday where the car had too much grip in the back of it, so we actually lifted the back of the car up a little bit, which made it more oversteery, because it changed the geometry and the rake of the car, and it made it a lot more slippery. Because we're running a bit low horsepower, we want a bit more slip in the car, so we lifted the back up and it made it 10 times better, as well as adjusting the bump and the rebound to suit you, make it a bit stiffer, and you get a bit less traction. But on the other side, you don't want to overdo it, because you make it too slippery, you're going to spin out and not get very good scores from the judges.
Well, thanks very much for your time, Jack, and a bit of a rundown how suspension works and how important it is in the drift car. And as you can see, it's quite important. If you want to get your drift car working right, suspension is the first place to start.